Hello again and welcome to another video. This is our 2018 BMW 435 Xdrive. This is the coupe, the M Sport with the auto Steptronic gearbox, which is the ZF gearbox of the paddle shift. This car's covered just 28,808 miles, I think it is exactly, with full dealer service history, and then the last service we've just done a little bit early, and that's done by our BMW specialist, which is all in the Xdrive and on the BMW platform. He carries out all the checks on the cars for us. It's a two-owner vehicle, or I say two-owner. However, the first keeper is showing us only 5 months, which I believe would be one of the dealers, BMW dealers. It may have been a demonstrator because it's quite a short period. I think it's like 4 or 5 months. So we're going to take a look around the car. The whole car's been detailed and machine polished to a really high level. We spend a lot of time making sure the car's right. One person specialises on the exterior of the car and the other person on the interior. The outside of the car has been rotary polished and then polished again with an orbiting polisher which sort of oscillates around. We use a finer compound, take out any holograms and take out any sort of fogging from the compound, and it sort of gives a bright, shiny, clean finish to the car. You don't get that haze. You can see the reflection of the roof in here. Now the front of the car has got very minimal, there's no real nasty chips or anything. It's in really nice condition, as you can see. On all of these BMWs, what you will notice is you get like these little tiny like dots. It's where debris off the road hits the front, and under these bright lights you can just see the reflection there on the light, but when you take it outside you don't see that at all, to be honest with you. It's just like little specks of dust and stuff that hits the front of the car. We've got some new black gloss BMW grills. They're the genuine ones, which look really nice on the front of the car. We tend to change all of these. I'll just come round and show you the other side as well. All really nice and clean. In fact, if I show you down the side of the car, I'll show you the other side in a second. You can see that all the panels are really nice and true. It's not had any previous body work or anything like that. It's got a very straight, clean panel down that side. Now, I've already looked over this bonnet. There are minimal chips. In fact, you see the reflection of me in there. We'll move around. Don't need to see me. It's all about the car. Little chip just there that has been touched in. It's just the lacquer reflecting back in a lighter colour. As I say, these lights are so bright. They enhance everything. If we come up over the top of the bonnet, you can see there's nothing up there. It's really clean. And the windscreen's good as well. There's no nasty chips in the windscreen. You can see the heads-up display there as well. Just take you up onto the roof actually while we're here. I'm just glancing around with my naked eye rather than looking through the camera. There's no bird dropping stains, there's no marks in the paint that you get from tree sap or anything like that. There's no scratches. And all the black gloss trims around the car I've also checked, and they're not worn through on the edges or anything from any previous polishing or anything like that. Let's come back to the front just for a second. I'll take you down what we did on the other side of the car so you can see. It's always a good angle to look down the side of a car and see that the panel's nice and straight. Any little ding dents from other people's doors we have done anyway. The dent man takes those out, but you can see, I'll just run along the side. The panels are beautiful. The gloss on the car is beautiful. Let's take a look at these wheels. So we've got the 704M 19-inch alloy wheels with the M Sport brakes. Let's just try and get this still. So we've got the bigger discs and the bigger calipers. They're about 370mm disc. I'll show you the rear one on here. It's running on Bridgestone Potenzas, which is the tyres they come from new. Just see that wheel there. And while we're here, let's look down the side from the back as well. You see it's all nice and clean there. We've got the lights on. Let's take you up onto the boot lid. I'll come back out in a second to show you the side of the car, but there's no scratches up here. Got the sun protection glass. Let's just come back out. There we go. All in really, there's no damage at the bottom of the bumper or anything. Problem with a black car in a white showroom is the camera doesn't know what it's doing. 1 minute it's dark and the next minute it's all light. I'll show you along the top there afterwards. Just come down the... Yeah, you can see just how glossy that paint finish is. And another area I like to show people is an area which potentially has, you know, can get scratched because of filling the car with fuel. There's no scratches around the filler cap. And then if we open it up, and see how clean it is. Let's take a look at this wheel on the driver's side rear. All in lovely condition, as are all the wheels. And while we're here, just show you up on the top of the roof. You can see these bright lights. I think it's just dust on there actually. It's just blown off, so they're all nice and clear. Trying to get the light to change, but... And then this front wheel, just come out a little bit. Okay, so let's take a wider look at the car. So nice, sleek and sporty looking, these 4 Series coupes. And this has got some really nice spec on which we're going to talk about. Let me just take you around the car to show you all of the angles. I'm going to try and keep it from going bright. Got the nice LED headlights, front fog lights on the 4 Series as well. Got front and rear parking sensors. Now, this car has about 3 different packs on, from what I've worked out through the spec check. Has the M Sport Plus package, which gives you the bigger wheels, the brakes, the sun protection glass, the Harman Kardon sound system. We've got Innovation Pack, and the Innovation Pack is heads-up display, real-time traffic, full black panel display, which is down where the speedo is, the panel at the bottom, wireless Bluetooth charging, Wi-Fi hotspot, online entertainment, driving assistant, and then we've also got what's called the dynamic handling package. So the dynamic handling package is the adaptive M Sport suspension and the variable sport steering. So the steering is changeable with the driving mode button to make it lighter or heavier for a sportier feel. And while we're here, let's take a look in this boot. And as we do, I can show you the top of this bumper, because again, this is an area that can be chipped on the edge or scratched. You can see everything is, there we go, lovely and clean. All the way around, let's try and, there we go. And then inside the boot. Now the seats drop down, got these little levers at the top, either side. It's a 60-40 split. You notice all the boot carpets are immaculate. That's light, by the way, that's not a stain down there. And then we've got the locking wheel nut, which will all be in the toolbox there. Let's close that down. So all nice in there. And then we've got the warning triangle at the top. And again, all of the carpet there in really nice condition. All lovely and clean up here as well. Right, so let's take a look inside the car now. Oh, before we do, let me just grab the key from my back pocket. So we've got these lovely little LED lights under the doors as well. So at night that sort of shines down. And then when we open up, let's unlock it. We've also got, let's push that open, puddle lights underneath as well. You can see just how clean the car is. If we look at this door card, it's not been damaged by seat belts getting damaged on the side of the door card in between the door shut. We've got the black Dakota leather. We've got the polished aluminium with the carbon as well. Like I say, we've got the white stitching, which sort of highlights itself through the door card. And then again onto the seats. The contrasting stitching and the I think it's oyster piping actually. A little piping down the sides of the the bolsters there, sorry. We've got electric seats on the 435 Xdrive with the bolster button there, the little rocker button that blows up either side of the seat to hold you in. You can also extend the front of the seat forward. It gives you more support, takes the weight off of your heel. We've got the Harman Kardon sound system, which consists usually of about up to 16 speakers. There's 2 in the doors, 1 up in front of the professional media. There are more under the seats, and then again in the rear. You can just see them down in there. While we're here, we'll pull the seat forward. Now you notice there's very little wear in the back here. The leather is nice and tight. It hasn't been stretched or creased. So it doesn't look like really anyone's really sat in there. I'm sure they have, but not consistently. Got the center armrest there. The professional media wheel, which you can write on the top of, which we'll show you a little bit later. The ZF gearbox. There we go. Got the Pro media. Okay, let's take you around the other side. Because this one's got the enhanced Bluetooth with the wireless charging, you could actually have Apple CarPlay added to the car at BMW, whereas if it didn't have that, you can still have it fitted, but you'd have it done at an independent place that would fit the Apple CarPlay. I believe they need to put some sort of antenna or some little device into the car, which they can do. Again, just looking at this driver door card, if we look down the edges, these are all the places to check. All along underneath, no chunks taken out or anything. Just get this in focus. All of the door handles are actually in really good condition. Sometimes these get scratched because they're metal. All the speakers, all in nice condition, all nice and clean in there. And then on the driver's side, again, we've got the electric seat, but with memory on this side, 2 memory positions. Just take a look. You can move the seat backwards and forwards with this electric button as well. Just want to show all the carpets, really nice and clean. And just these vents are all intact, no damage there. Just pop that seat forward. Take that seat back a little bit so I can get in. There we go. Oh, it's memorised its position. There we go. And if we take a look at the driver's seat, all the bolsters are okay. There's no wear through the black on the leather. There you go. There's quite a lot of light, as I said. All of the centre console. Let's just zoom in. Try and get this a little bit more. There we go. All in really, oh, excuse me. no scratches, all in lovely condition. Right, let's jump in. So let's zoom this out again. Show you the steering wheel. All of the levers really nice. Just had some top tips off of a gentleman that's just picked up a car from us. He actually works in the industry. He works with leather and does leather repairs on cars, etc. And he reckons one of the best ways to clean your steering wheel is with some Auto Gleam cleaner and a magic sponge, and it takes that glossy shine that you sometimes get on the steering wheels off, and you don't press too hard, and he said you get a really nice finish and it's not all shiny and it takes all the grease off. So, but use caution when using one of those. You don't want to push too hard, you don't want to wear through the colour on the leather. So 28,808 miles. Just come out a little bit, you can see we've got a mode button here, voice control, plus and minus. We've got the speed limiter on this side and cruise control. If you press the speed limiter button, you'll notice two things: the limiter come up there, and then this little green. If I turn it off again, and then you use the rocker button here to set the speed in the middle in green there and lift the speed up to the speed that you don't want to go over. If we turn that off and press cruise control, you'll see it again, little needle come up round here. Obviously we're not going along, but we then set the speed you need to be moving for that to work, in all fairness. Okay, now the next thing I wanted to show you, and I think I might have to move it up, so bear with me just a second. I'm moving into displays on the iDrive here. So if we go into the heads up display, we can actually change the height. I'm just right, okay, there should be good. Now if I get this, this is no mean feat to get this on camera, but if you look below the white headlight, if I then, okay, look at the grills, we can see the list. This is the DAB channels I'm flicking through. It's not a great picture, I can see that, but you can use the wheel here. Let's get this in focus now. So you press mode for DAB channels, FM, AM, or online entertainment, or your Bluetooth wires, and then you can use this scroll button to move through them. As I say, it's quite hard to, you can just make it out, and on the left you'll make out is a road sign. But if I take the heads off display, let's get this in focus. If I take heads up display off, heads off, heads, let me just turn that off. Right, now down here on the full black panel display, if we flick through here, there we go, that's that road sign. It's not, we're off the road, but that will show you the speed of the road, and that's what's showing up on the heads up display. Basically the information down here is what you would see on the heads up display, and also your sat nav, etc. In fact, there's a list of what the car will display. Let's turn the heads up back on. Information display, there's the whole list, cruise control, everything, and that shows up on the display, as you can see on the right. So let's come out of there. This is where you can alter the brightness, the height, and the rotation, which will adjust it so that you can get it straight and it's not crooked, and you get it nice and straight. Now that I've brightened that, it might be easier to see it. Oh, okay, here we go. There you go, you can just make it out now. And it's got the speed there, as you can see. So there's your heads up display. We've also got high beam assist, so this button here, this uses the camera up in front here, so that when it's turned on and you're driving at night, the main beam will come up, and as soon as an oncoming car comes at you with its bright lights, or you drive into a lit up village, it will automatically dip the lights. Now the navigation, the professional media in this one is touchscreen, so we can move all this about. go in like that. I'll use the iDrive wheel just to get out the way of the camera. And this is all your sub menus down the side here. Traffic information, additional information. In here you've got different satellite images, points of interest you can highlight, and interactive map. If you go into the map views, we've got it north orientated. We can put it in direction of travel. Now, using the buttons down here, we'll use number 7 for this one. You'll see it comes up at the top. We can actually save this window, and then if we want to go back into map views and put perspective, which is as the bird flies, they say, we can then save that on number 8. And rather than having to go all the way in, we can use those shortcuts. So if I press number 7, changes the view. Now, this will also save telephone numbers. So you go into the number that you want to save in your phone book, and then press and hold, say button 1, and it will dial out when you press button 1. Obviously you can save radio channels in there, but with dabble channels and stuff, it's very easy to flick through. We've got dual climate, we've got the heated seats. Just checking, obviously it's start stop. We also have another USB here. This will charge your phone, as will the wireless charger, and this Bluetooth one here. There is another 12-volt socket just up under here, under the glove box. Another one in here, nice and clean in there, as you can see. Now, we've got the ZF gearbox, as I say, and then we have the drive mode button. So that's looking to that. So they all have the drive mode button. However, on this display, it shows you things that change that won't necessarily change unless you have that feature on the car. So first of all, let's look at the Eco Pro. So in this mode, the car will drive, the engine settings are set to give you maximum economy, so it'll feel quite flat on the throttle. If you go into the settings here, you'll notice down here it says 92% efficient. If you turn off, for example, coasting allows for no engine braking when you come off the throttle, so you get better fuel economy. You'll notice with turning it off, it's dropped it to 82%. So by popping it back on, you know you're going to be driving more efficiently for long trips, you know, just want a bit of fuel saving. We then can go into comfort. Now in Eco Pro and Comfort, both the steering and the chassis, unless you adjust it accordingly, will be in a softer mode. The shock absorbers have a valve on them, and they can change the fluid from one side to the other to make them stiffer or harder. Stiffer or softer. So that's in comfort as well, which is a balance setting. So that's your comfort settings for a softer ride. As soon as you go into sport, the suspension will stiffen, the steering will also sharpen up, and by that I mean it's not so slack, it's more direct. We just go back into there again because it doesn't stay there for long. Now in the sport mode, you've got an option to adjust both the drive chain, the power, and the chassis, or you can have it so it will adjust the drive chain, so it will put it in a sports mode to get maximum power, but you can have it in the softer chassis, or you can do it the other way around. We have a softer chassis, a stiffer chassis, and without the added power. We'll leave it on both. I hope that was understood. But we've also got some sport. We've got Sport Plus as well, and both of these modes, they do, I believe from what I've read from BMW, they do sharpen it up a bit more as well. So in this, takes off part of the traction control, and you can also go into the sport displays, which is showing you currently kilowatts and newton meters. You can change this very quickly. If you go into my vehicle, come down to, there we go, iDrive settings, units, we can change kilowatts to horsepower, torque to pounds per foot, and then if we go into here, it's changed. Okay, so Now, I've just noticed there are, couldn't see this from the outside, a couple of little, tiny little marks. Like I say, the aim of the video is to be completely transparent. They're very superficial, but just to point out a couple of little, I don't know, tiny little marks. Quite hard to pick them up on here, but very small. We've got all the books in there as well, and the books are also, or not the books, but there is a handbook within the car. Now, the beauty of the one on the car is everything that's fitted to the car is in this system, whereas the handbook tends to show just everything anyway. You can look through here, like lane departure, and this will show you an animation video.
At a certain speed, the lane departure warning alerts you when the vehicle is about to leave the lane on streets with lane markings. The system indicates when you leave the lane by slightly vibrating the steering wheel.
We won't watch all of that because we haven't got all day to be here for that. But if we go into here, we've got technology in action. That's your sports place. Sorry, there is another. Okay, driving information. Okay, let's go over to the driving assistant. So you'll see we've got the driving assistant consists of this anti-collision system, which if I turn it off and then turn it back on, the collision warning system, and we've also got pedestrian alert. So the collision warning system, you can configure to have it earlier or late, and you'll see the cars get closer together. We'll put it back to early. Don't want any nasty surprises for the person who buys the car. And let me just go back into that flick. And then the pedestrian alert is on. Now this is where if a pedestrian's going to walk out, and I think this only works during the day, it will warn you, and I believe it may even brake the car. Now the other button is for, as we were just watching, the lane departure, and if you move across the lane, you've got this 2 lanes come up on hill to, I'll show you, off, on, and it will vibrate the steering wheel very slightly to let you know you've crossed the white line. Okay, let's have a quick look around inside. We've already had a look under here, as you saw. And on here you can write on the top, if you're going into the map, for destination, add new destination, address input. Oh, you have to put the country in first. Oh, it's gonna, there we go. And then we can either use voice control or by just using your finger, look, you can start writing and it will shortcut to the right. Okay, so we want to look at next is the service history, which if you go into driver information, vehicle status. Why is it also different when you're looking through the camera? Right, you can do tyre pressure in here, measure the oil, service requirements. You'll see all the service histories in here. That's the PDI, oil and filter service, brake fluid service, and then we've just done another oil service. This was done early, it wasn't due yet, but we like to get them checked over, and we've done an oil service at the same time. So all up to date in there. And if I come out of there, nothing is going to be due till December next year. Front pad's got 13,000 miles, oil 2 years, 19,000 miles, rear pad's 22,000 miles, vehicle check 37,000 miles because we checked the vehicle over. Right, I think I've shown you enough inside the car, so let's jump out and have a look under the bonnet. 2 pulls to lift the bonnet up. So the 435 engine does actually have 2 turbos, because usually the twin power turbo is a dual cool turbo, or a twin scroll I should say. But this actually has 2 turbos, a smaller turbo and a larger turbo, to cut down on lag. So the smaller turbo spins up first, followed by the second one, which is a bit larger, obviously, and it's very efficient. This engine bay is really nice and clean. It's all done by hand. Just take you around, show you the engine bay. And if we look up under here as well, just as shiny underneath. So I can see that the video's gone on for 30 minutes now, so I'll try and bring it to an end. So just to let you know, this car's all ready to go. It would have been MOT'd. I forgot to check the MOT, but they're all MOT generally up to date when they go around for the service. This one, I'm sure we've just done an MOT on it. And so this is all ready to go, this car. We have various finance options. We also have some really fantastic warranties, which you can take out extended warranties, which will also allow you to go back to main dealers to have any work carried out. Worth asking about because the policy is really good. Even covers oil seals, gaskets. There's a whole range of things that it covers. So please just ask about that. Anyway, thank you for spending the time to watch the video. As you can tell, I'm starting to run out of things to say. But it's a lovely car. So hope to speak to you very soon. Take care. Bye.